Yo, what is up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another first reactions video, and this one comes from the premiere for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. A bunch of people got to see it, and we're gonna go ahead and cover some of the first reactions out of this coming out of this movie. But before we do, of course, hit that subscribe button, click that bell. Be sure to thumbs up this video if you do enjoy it, and especially if you like this type of content, because lets me know that, you know, I'll do more of these for maybe even more movies. But yeah guys, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get straight into it. The first one comes from Samuel saying Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning was freaking nuts. A bit touch and go with the tone at first, but when it hits its stride, oh my gosh, top notch insane action. I would expect nothing less from the awesome Tom Cruise, but who was the standout was 𝙀𝙀𝙚. If she killed it in every scene. Love the love to one of the Guardians members. I love that. The next one we got comes from a fellow YouTuber who is great, by the way. If you're not subscribed to him, I don't know how. He's amazing. Chris Parker from 3C Film says, Mission Impossible, how do these movies get better and better with every sequel? Tom Cruise and team deliver another fantastic entry. The outstanding action, set pieces, and suspenseful moments are only the cherry on top compared to its gripping story. This new villain is terrifying. That's great to hear, especially, you know, hearing that the story is actually pretty gripping. That is interesting, because I think that is kind of one of the weaker parts of the Mission Impossible franchises. The missions do tend to be a little straightforward and weak narratively, so this is great to hear. The next one we've got comes from Eric Davis saying, I had the absolute best time watching Mission Impossible, an impeccably made action film that does not stop entertaining. Each action sequence is long, crazy, and intense. The story is big and sprawling, but I like how it both felt complete and left you dying for what comes next. This is interesting because we do know that this is a part 1, so I wonder how much substance and how much is in this film in comparison to the second part, which is obviously going to be the conclusion. But I'm just very curious to see where this holds, especially at the end of the film, and where it ends, and how satisfying the film will be, obviously, considering it will most likely end on a cliffhanger or an open ending. But yeah, the next one comes from Zach Pope, another YouTuber who I love, who you guys should subscribe to, saying Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning honestly dropped my jaw. McQuarrie infuses tech paranoia, Hitchcocking intensity, white knuckle action set pieces that remind you why movies like this must be seen in theaters. Cruise, Atwell, Ferguson are at the top of their game. Wow. We've got another one coming from Movie Files as well, who is also a YouTuber you guys should subscribe to. Everyone's YouTubers in here. I just love showing the love, you know. But yeah, they said that Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is exhilarating. It's impossible to fathom how this cast and crew managed to create these edge of your seat action set pieces that somehow one-up each other. This felt the closest to Brian De Palma's 1996 Mission, which is great because I do know that there are a lot of people that watch this franchise because they are a huge fan of the original, and seeing some love thrown over there is pretty good to hear. The next one comes from Tessa Smith at Mama's Geeky saying Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is phenomenal, a blast from start to finish, filled with epic action sequences, insane stunts, and even quite a bit of humor. Haley Atwell is a welcome addition, as is 𝙀𝙀𝙚, and Tom Cruise is great as always, which, you know, we're all expecting. Tom Cruise is like 60 years old, flying off of helicopters and jumping off of buildings. It's kind of crazy. But the next one comes from Courtney Howard, and she says Mission Impossible 7 is an exhilarating spectacular, filled with breathtaking stunts, cunning intrigue, compelling stakes, and a breakneck drive. Leaves your jaw on the floor. McQuarrie and company deliver another action masterclass. Cruise is a madman. Atwell and Morales are my MVPs. Now, Hayley Atwell seems to be getting a ton of love from this movie, which is great to hear because, you know, I love her in the MCU, and kind of them introducing a new character in the Mission Impossible franchise this late was kind of worrying me, but I love that everyone feels like she's a welcome addition and that they love her. Next is Scott Menzel saying, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is another highly entertaining entry in the MI franchise, featuring a ton of epic action sequences. In terms of cast, Hayley Atwell steals the show. While overall it is very good, the film does have pacing problems. So this is the first reaction we've seen thus far that isn't overtly positive, and even then, I mean, they're still praising the majority of the film. So, I mean, take that as you will. To me, that just means, I mean, even with the faults that this movie has, it's still a great experience. The next one comes from Critical Overload saying, Mission Impossible 7 gets my stamp of approval. Christopher McQuarrie's direction remains flawless. The AI story is timely and horrifically compelling. Tom Cruise shines as usual, and Hayley Atwell is a terrific addition. The third act is insane, might be my favorite for now. Now, what I'm thinking that for now is probably you know, holding out for part 2, but I love that they're bringing up at how compelling the story is. Once again, that's great to hear because like I've said previously, you know, the narrative is kind of, you know, kind of the weakest part of the Mission Impossible franchise. It's pretty straightforward, but it seems like they are definitely doing some interesting things with the story in this movie, and I could imagine that this definitely bleeds into part 2. Aubrey says, with thrilling and anxiety-inducing stunts, Mission Impossible 7 is certainly my new favorite of the franchise. It has such a brilliant cast and thought-provoking story. I definitely can't wait for part 2. And we've got one more coming from Big Screen Leaks saying, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning is one of the greatest action movies of all time. Chris McQuarrie and Tom Cruise have set a gold standard for spy films and delivered an exhilarating experience that commands your attention from start to finish. I'm in complete and utter awe. I see this on Monday at an early screening, so hopefully I will be the same. Hopefully my jaw will be on the floor like they say. I will be in awe like they are. I mean, I just want to have my mind blown at some of these stunts, and I've seen like behind the scenes footage of some of them, and it's just insane the things that Tom Cruise does for his movies. I mean, the man is like 60 years old, still in the game, doing some of the most insane stuff out of any performer, let alone actor. So yeah, guys, those are the reactions coming out of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. You guys, let me know your thoughts on not only the reactions, but are you excited for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 or Mission Impossible 7? You go ahead and leave it in the comments below. I love discussing with you guys down there. But yeah, it seems like the film is a smash hit, just like pretty much every other Mission Impossible movie. The franchise seems to be getting better and better, and I love to hear that. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the first reactions of Mission Impossible 7. If you ended up enjoying this video, consider hitting that subscribe button and clicking that bell. That would be greatly appreciated. And feel free to follow any of my social links that are linked in the description. But yeah, guys, other than that, guys, it's been 𝙋𝙀🎑, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one.